me and my daughter. What was it? She was watching some horrible YouTube video that I shouldn't have been letting her watch. It was like Ronald McDonald in Roblox. I have no fucking idea what any of this shit is, but it was you know, she doesn't play
Boomer.
Roblox. She only knows it because these family channels talk about it. And there's something about I don't know if it's DLC or what the hell it is, but Ronald McDonald's in the game and he's scary. And so she was like, "Can we play a Ronald McDonald game?" And I was like, "Do I have the game for you?" I said, "There's Ronald McDonald in Treasureland," and it was it's for the Sega Genesis. And you know what? It's a pretty damn good platformer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the best. It's not the worst. And we played through the whole thing, and it was pretty challenging. And I think I recommend it, maybe. But then we also we've been watching. So a huge, awesome thing happened to me. Her kindergarten invited parents to come and be the special guest reader. And so they said, you have to be Corey checked and stuff, but you're welcome to come in, choose your child's favorite story, and read it to the class. And I'm going to kill this. I do the voices and everything. And so I got Corey checked, and it was supposed to be like a big surprise, so she doesn't know that it was happening. But I did ask her, I was like, "What's your favorite story right now?" And she was like, "Peter Pan," because we've been doing that a lot. I mean, and we've still been reading the J.M. Barrie book, which is just getting more and more interesting. But we had the golden book, the Disneyfied golden book. So I showed up, and they did this thing where each teacher was like, "Okay, today's special," because there had been 2 other moms that had gone before me. So it was, and she actually told me later, she was like, I was sitting there thinking, I wish my parents could do something cool like this. And I'm so glad like, I came through because, you know, in life, it's so easy to be like, I don't know if I can do the school thing. I got work, whatever. So each teacher was like, and today's special guest reader is Mrs. Dean. And they did like, you know, they punked to the kids 3 times in a row with different teachers. And then finally I step in and I'm seeking around the, you know, like they're way in the back on the rug and I'm like way up in the front of the classroom. I'm seeking around for my kid. I see her. She sees me. And she was like, she looked sick with surprise. Like,
that's awesome.
I was the last person she expected to walk through that door.
Yeah.
So it was like this. It was like, as soon as she saw me, she's like,
it's like, imagine if you were at work and your dad came into.
It'd be nice if you called every once in a while.
Anyway, I brought Peter Pan.
All right, sit down. Captain Hook, right? I used to be on a fishing boat. My dad reads to me at school, at work.
And everybody's just like listening attentively.
Gather the IT professionals. So Peter Pan, right? Magical boy. So whatever. So I read the book and she got to be, you know, in the front row and she got to know all the answers, you know, and it was great. And the class was really good. I will say this though. Do you remember when you were in school, were you told to shut up a lot?
I assume so. I went to a Catholic school, so
yeah.
They yelled at us a lot for everything.
I mean, I got in trouble my whole life, including to this very moment, for talking too much. And so it was one of those things. I think I figured it out pretty early, where I was like, my conduct is good. Otherwise, I'm going to talk. Sorry. like we're going to have to ignore that one. Especially once I got smart enough to figure out, I was like, they really just don't want to contend with me. In other words, like they don't, it's not so much about, you know, because a lot of times I was engaged in the class and stuff. And it was more like they don't want, like, the general noise is difficult to manage. So it was like, no, that's on you.
Right.
But in this classroom, the kids would like, they have like a comment or they have like, but they were totally engaged the whole time. They were really into the story. Half of them had never heard of Peter Pan before, 5 and 6 year olds. I was really surprised.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I was like, when did Peter Pan go out of fucking fashion? I said that to the classroom.
Well, lucky for you kids, Disney Plus has Peter Pan and Wendy coming out soon. Looks like puke.
Yeah, it looks like fucking mud. If you want more layoffs coming, kids.
Yeah, 4,000 layoffs
for every
brought you Peter Pan and Wendy.
Victoria Alfonso, heads are gonna roll. So anyway, I guess afterwards she cried a lot. She was like, I miss my dad. Because I think she was just like, she was dealing with the fact that she's like, oh, school can involve my dad who I play with and I have fun with. Like it was like too much. It was like too much emotion in the middle of the day for a 5-year-old. But yeah, every time that a kid like piped up, one of 3 teachers would be like, shh, shh, Jason, sit on your butt. Shh, shh.
Just leaking air. Ladies,
stop it. And Gloria, sure enough, Gloria later on was like, why do they keep shushing me, Dad? Like, what, you saw it. I was like, they shush frames. Us frames have to get shushed.
It's our lot in life.
It's our lot in life. Anyway, where was I going with all that? Oh yeah. So that led us to watching Hook. And I was reminded of just how much I love Hook. I mean, I'm just crazy about Hook. This movie, I understand, like it's got a really interesting history where Spielberg had wanted to do a Peter Pan project. He was going to adapt the play Peter and Wendy for a long time. And like Michael Jackson kept trying to shoehorn himself in. He's like, I can play Peter. I can play Peter. Mr. Spielberg.
I'm in Neverland. It's my ranch in Neverland.
I'm a little boy forever. But he kept getting himself in the headlines too. Where they're like, Michael Jackson's going to be in this thing. And from what I can tell, Spielberg never had any intention of doing that.
Like, fuck that.
Like,
he's not even going to be Rufio.
I want to make the creepiest possible Peter Pan that I can make. But it fell through, and then there was this project that had been getting bandied about where Peter grows old, and the guy who directed The Last Starfighter was supposed to do it, and then Spielberg sandbagged him and stole the project.
Yoink.
And did it. And every single iteration, this is kind of interesting too. Dustin Hoffman was signed on to be Hook in every iteration.
Yeah, man.
Kind of like, remember when Christian Bale was signed on to be Batman, like in every like in the Darren Aronofsky version and like in all those versions that they never made, it was always going to be Christian Bale. Sometimes they just get signed on to a project and you're there. But
yeah, no, like I can't imagine anyone else. I bet all the executives get very used to the idea.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But they developed it as a musical, and John Williams wrote 7 or 8 numbers, and supposedly the score actually, like those numbers ended up in the score. But it also, there was a 3.5-4 hour cut, and what you're watching, the 2.5 hour.
Do they have like footage of the music anywhere? What the music sounds like?
I've never seen that. I've seen a number of deleted scenes. I think they, like, you can kind of tell when you watch the movie that there's like a version of this that could be a lot more fleshed out, where you could understand some of the details a little bit better. But I actually think that the editing is great. I think that the rhythm's great. People will, like, it didn't do well when it came out. Some people still have something against Hook for some reason. Like Siskel was like, Dustin Hoffman sucked as Hook. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Siskel, you suck.
Let me tell you something. You suck. That's my Howard Stern. Siskel, let me there's a clip of it, like Artie went crazy in the studio one day and he knocked over a table for me. This is on Howard Stern. And Robin's all geared up, and she goes, "Wait, did you just see?" and Howard goes, "Robin, first of all, you calm down. First of all, I'm going to tell you something."
You started bringing up
Robin. First of all, you calm down. Number one, I'm going to tell you something.
Right. I always find myself saying that, and people don't get the reference. I just look condescending. I'm like, first of all, you calm down. First of all, I'm going to tell you something. Anyway, so Hook, it's awesome. I love it. Robin Williams is great. The kids are amazing. Dude, cinematography. Go to Hook, get a file of Hook, and just seek to any part of it, and you will be watching a camera setup that has imagination in it. Like,
yeah,
every single shot. There's a shot of like Smee ringing a bell saying, "If anybody's not fighting, get here quick." The way it's framed, the background action, the depth, like every shot. There's this one shot of when Peter's training, where there's like one Peter running in the background this way, then it whip pans. There's another Peter running this way. They're both just stuntmen. They're just far away. And then finally, like a third Peter, which is Robin Williams, like pops up into frame and he's sweating. It is like so many imaginative ideas. And like classic Spielberg is incredible. Like Spielberg in his 30s, like, damn good.
Yeah, it looks like pretty like especially on the pirate ship, looks like a very set like, but I think I prefer that to anything this volume vomit that we've been getting. You know,
kind of like lets you in on it. You know. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, that led us. I could go on about Hook all day, but that led us to the Sega CD version of the Hook video game, which is the same thing as the SNES one. Have you ever heard of the SNES game Sky Blazer?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a pretty great SNES game, but interesting trivia. It was built on the Hook engine.
Wow.
So like this licensed game was good enough that they were like, let's build a new game off of that. A game that actually went on to be pretty popular. In Japan, Sky Blazer is called Garuda. Okay. But anyway, the Sega CD version has really bad voice acting. Like, I'm not Peter Pan. I would never not go to Neverland. This is so fucking bad.
Jack, Maggie, it's time for bed.
Daddy, is Grandma Wendy the real Wendy?
Maggie, that's ridiculous. Now come on, children. It's way past your bedtime.
And Gloria was like, can we do the voice one? She was like, it really captured her imagination. The game is ridiculously impossible, but we finished it. So we've been on a real Peter Pan bender lately.
Isn't there a Hook arcade game too, like a beat 'em up?
Yeah, it's super good too. It's like right up there with, I think, with like Bucky O'Hare and Simpsons.
No.
I mean, there's a really, you can play as Rufio, Peter, Thudbutt, and Pockets. I think.
Yeah, I remember I played a little bit on my arcade downstairs. I thought it was pretty good.
You know, reading the book also has kind of shown me like that there's a lot of elements in Hook that are from the book, like the imaginary food fight, for instance.
Oh,
that like that's straight out of the book. There's not like a scene with it. They just make mention of. They're like, Peter didn't know the difference between make believe and reality. Sometimes the boys would go hungry because he just wanted to play eating, and they were like, "Dude, like, where's the actual food?" That's in the book. So,
yeah. I remember that scene being a little bit disturbing because it gets like the food gets all painty, right? It's very strange.
yeah, it's like kind of cakeish. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.
First of all, you calm down. Number one, I'm going to tell you something.